Well, we made it 40 miles and someone forgot to put fuel in their car.
Hey everybody, what's up? And welcome back to another episode of Chasing 518. Today, King of the Hammers. Let's hit the road. We're going to try something new this week. Gotten suggestions from you guys that maybe instead of music, you want to hear a little bit of explanation of the video that you're seeing or watching, whether it's a time lapse of me working or traveling down the road like this. So we'll give it a shot this week. Let me know what you guys think. Put it in the comments. Tell me if you like the voiceovers or if you're tired of hearing me and you just want some music again. With that out of the way, we're pulling onto Boone Road now, so let's get started. So pulling into the staging lanes here, I'll park and I'll go find the tent, get checked in, get my wristband, and then go find Aaron. Got my wristbands, I'm all checked in. What's up?
Howdy, partner.
You coming in?
Yeah.
How you doing? Good, how are you?
How's your ride?
It's cold here.
Yeah, you brought the cold with you.
What? No
it was like
way.
70 degrees.
Oh, bullshit.
And sunny.
It snowed.
Now it's not.
Camp is set up. Got my camper on this side of Aaron's pit and his on that side. That gives us kind of this center corridor for race car things, smudge pot. So right now what we're doing is Aaron brought 6 empty wheels and I brought 6 40-inch sticky Mickeys. So we're gonna get those all mounted up while we've got time and before we drink too many beers and forget to torque them to 18. So Aaron's gonna get a little assembly line going. He's running these together, and then the brand new wheels and tires that he put on at his shop probably pull off and save for the big dance. Look at it being all courteous too, not even making noise while I'm filming.
Just try not to make too much noise on you.
Let's go. So what I'm going to bring you guys in this video from King of the Hammers is I'm going to bring you King of the Hammers from the wrong seat. Good morning from the lake bed. All right, this is about 6 a.m. day 2. Tomorrow, pre-running officially starts tomorrow at noon when we get the course file, but based on what Dave Cole showed us on the live feed, my buddy Andrew Brown made a makeshift course map for lap 2 of the rocks. So what Aaron wants to do today is get a little bit of shakedown on the car. So I think we're gonna do the qualifying course a couple of times just to, it's close to town in case there's any problems, kind of see what that looks like. And then if that goes good and we got time, we'll go out and run maybe a couple trails part of lap 2. I've got photo shoot booked for 3 p.m. today for Bluey and for Aaron's car with a friend of mine, Chad Douglas. Figured we should get some marketing and get some beauty shots and stuff. Got some coffee going, got the old school percolator going here. And then I'll show you guys a picture of this heater in the dark, but this is basically a bigger version of like a Mr. Buddy heater. It's just a catalytic, runs off a propane tank. I like it. Showed 62 degrees when I got up, so that's pretty cool considering it's probably in the 30s outside. It does a great job at just keeping the motorhome warm enough, and it doesn't use up any battery running a furnace all night, so I like that. A little bit of longevity for the whole 2-week haul out here. I'm gonna have some coffee, eat some breakfast, and then probably start organizing some of this footage so I can keep it straight, drop it all into folders and day 1, day 2, and all that. Then we'll get outside and see what we got going on for race car things today. I always like starting with the qualifying course because it's close to town, so if you have any problems with the car that you're not prepared for, you're real close to pit and it's easy to come back. It's a great way to just get in the car, make sure everything's working, comms are good, and just kind of shake things out a little bit just to get warmed up. So we figured we'd go run the qualifying course a few times, and if everything was good, we'd set out onto lap 2. So certainly getting into the car is quite a routine. I like to get in the seat and then get the window net up, because once you're belted in, it's hard to reach the window net course, as the navigator, I got things like my Onyx off-road I want to run. I got to get the low rants warmed up, make sure the race file's in there. Then it's the process of getting the harnesses on, 2 shoulder belts, lap belt, and then what's called a anti-submarine belt that comes up between your legs. So you got to get all those latched in. What you can't really see me do in this video is there's also a communications cable that we have to plug into our helmet. I like to do that first too, that way we can start talking to each other right away. And there's also a pumper hose because we've got supplied fresh air, or at least filtered air, running into our helmets to keep the visors from fogging and just kind of keep us nice and cool on the hot days. So we're getting on the short course here. You can see the start-finish line we're approaching now. And this is where the timing loop will start for qualifying and on race day. They'll get a green flag and you'll take off, proceed around this right-hand turn. Now if the gap jump was open, it would be kind of a sharper left, and you can see the jump lip there just outside of Aaron's window. But right now we're taking the bypass, which is a giant S-turn that travels underneath the gap of the gap jump. So I heard somebody say the other day that the gap jump was 70 feet lip to lip. It doesn't really seem like that at all to me. It looks more like 30-40 feet. So maybe the 70 feet was more a description of kind of an ideal landing distance. I'm not really sure. So now we're headed up through what they call the Bronco Arch. Obviously, King of the Hammer is sponsored by Ford Performance. So they erect this structure up here and just call it the Bronco Arch. Nothing real technical here, just got to get up the hill without popping a tire on one of the bigger rocks. We're going to drop down, make a slight left in these ruts. Now on race day, we stay left and go around the base of this mountain, but right here you'll see us kind of pop up out of the ruts, right there, and now we're going to head over straight to stay on the qualifying course. Now this rock ledge that we're headed towards right now is kind of made famous years ago by Mel Wade, attempting to go up it, doing a backflip, coming up and over backwards, rolling down, landing on his wheels, and then just turning around and taking another stab at it in qualifying. So if you've ever seen that footage, I think it's a red Jeep. It's kind of infamous in the KOH highlight reels. We also learned right now that Aaron and I's low rances are synced on brightness, so he tried to turn his down so it wasn't so bright, but it made mine too dark to see, so maybe that's something he can separate in the future technology-wise. Got up this little kind of steep incline, rocky incline here, and now we're going to go left and dive off of the rock face that's, this whole section over here, they typically refer to as qualifying rocks because they run qualifying course most consistently, or most of the years it's been somewhere in this area. A little kind of PTSD right here for me because this ledge that we're going down right now is what I rolled off of back in 2021 when I was practicing the qualifying course, because that year we had to go up those ledges and I got a bad bounce, went sideways and rolled back down. Alright, now we're making this right hand turn and we're headed up to that rock pile right there out the windshield. That is the one that you've probably seen video of Lauren Healy jumping his car off of a couple of years ago. Some people call it the bread loaf, but most people are very familiar with seeing the video of Lauren jumping his number 67 car down off of that. Now we're gonna navigate through these small rocks right here, and then once Aaron makes the right hand turn, this will be the little section or trail known as Short Bus. And it's just a loose kind of steep climb up this canyon. Kind of the first place on the qualifying course, you end up with a lot of tire spin, a little bit of RPM, just to get up here to the saddle. So once at the top, we're going to take a right-hand turn, and we're going to stay on this ridge. And this is a new section that, until people started practicing it for qualifying, didn't really have any tire tracks. Nobody had really driven across this ridge, at least with any consistency to burn in a line. So we got to get over this rock pile. On qualifying day, you'll see later that there were some flags that we need to stay between. So it made it kind of hard to practice without the flags there because we didn't really know exactly what we were looking for. It's kind of a little bit of a side hill here, not too much off camber. Pretty much what you can see there, that range in the distance is pretty level. So we're off, a few degrees, but it's nothing too sketchy at this point. Now I just kind of pointed out to Aaron, there's a little bit of an either or here. There's kind of a left or a right. They both seem usable or legal, I should say, for qualifying itself, but it looked like the left line was getting burned in a little bit better, and then once you drop down this ledge right here, it actually lines you up better for the notch you need to go through. Pretty much dead out my windshield right there. So the other line drops in a little sharper and you got to make a turn on the off camber. So we ran both a few times, but felt like this was probably the better line. This is probably the one technical section where you're actually, really going slow and rock crawling. Aaron was able to do it in high gear, which helped, not having to make a transfer case shift. And then once through there, we're looking at this pretty steep descent with that big rock there. We tried going on the right side of it, we tried going on the left side of it, and then I think ultimately in qualifying we went left. But so this is just a steep, loose spot. If you saw footage of that side by side getting all out of control and rolling several times, that was on that little descent right there. So down here I threw my hands up because there's a little bit of confusion about, I can see somebody went straight out through there, but we were pretty sure that we were going to be kind of corralled right through this area here on qualifying day. So backed up and tried to go the way we were supposed to go. Now we got to get through a little section of just open desert, pointing to a wood marker out to my left. Not sure if that's going to be required or not, but we're seeing a lot of tire marks just kind of heading off this way, heading back for short course. And then these blue and black flags here signify that we're back on short course. So we got a little kicker jump here, 180 degree left turn after that. They'd asked us to keep the speed down in the short course to like 25 miles an hour because they're constantly working on it with the tractors, and they don't have staff out here in case somebody wrecks or anything like that. Makes it hard though because you don't really get to practice the tabletops, you don't get to practice kind of railing the berm turns.
How'd it go today, boys?
Quite well. It's actually nice running around with somebody who knows where they're going.
Who's that?
The old Kevin Jones!
I don't know about that. We just pre-ran with Scott and Johnny in his 4800 car. We did the qualifying course like 3 times, and then we did what we could of lap 2 with the information that we have. So everything went good. I was telling Aaron, it's amazing to me. That's the first time probably ever pre-run right away where we didn't get out of the car to do anything, just drove. Both cars worked flawlessly, so hats off to Aaron and Scott for building some awesome machines. Gonna have some lunch, and then we got a photo shoot this afternoon, and we'll get back at it. End of day 2 here at King of the Hammers. We did the coolest thing this afternoon. We went and I hired a friend of mine, Chad Douglas, Dusted Lens on Instagram. We hired him for a photo shoot for Bluey and for Aaron's race car. And we went out to the sand dunes west of Hammertown, like a ridge over, and just spent like an hour hanging out in the sand dunes, taking photos, doing some action shots and stuff. The weather was killer. We all just hung out. It was great. And I didn't get any of it on video. Just had dinner, and I'm gonna go find some friends.
Good morning, KOH day 3. Been going to bed early. pretty proud of ourselves. Aaron and I have been pretty responsible so far. Just having some coffee and light breakfast and loading yesterday's footage data onto the laptop. So I'm just trying to organize it all by day in folders on my computer so that when I get home, it'll be a lot easier to sort out and to edit. But yeah, so gonna organize this footage and make sure the cameras are charged, and got plenty of memory card for today. So pre-running officially starts today at noon. We can get the race course file from PCI at noon exactly. So we're gonna fuel up the car, put on some like pre-running tires, and just try to be ready at noon, like have lunch already on board, and just be ready to pre-run all afternoon. It should be a good day. Weather was great yesterday. I think it's gonna just continually get better as we approach the desert class races this weekend. I didn't video any of it yesterday, but Aaron's water pump actually started leaking, and he's really frustrated with that because it's an AC Delco pump. It's, I think now maybe like the third one he's put on, and he keeps having like seal issues. The bearings feel okay, but he's losing the seal. So I don't know if he's got an overpressure issue or just a run of bad AC Delco pumps. They do say China on them, which is kind of disappointing. You know, you think you're buying the factory pump, but anyway, he had a spare because he's prepared. So he put that on real quick, and I tightened some things up, cleaned some things up, and then O'Reilly's is going to set up a mobile semi-trailer here on the lake bed as like a store. So we're going to get another LS3 water pump and make the modifications to it that Aaron needs and try to have that as a spare, but hopefully we never need it. Weather is amazing out here. It was a little cold when I got here, but I feel like it's getting warmer every day. It's supposed to be pretty dang nice for the desert races this weekend. It's just been a great trip so far. Oh, and Aaron gave me a sweatshirt. So now I got a Smith off-road hoodie. It's the little things. Just left the PCI race radio trailer, got the file downloaded on 3 micro SD cards, got our pre-run flags for when we're on the military base, and we'll go plug that into the GPS, and I think we're ready to roll. Feels really weird. Aaron and I just can't quite get over the fact that like we feel ready. So we'll go throw some helmets on, get this course loaded, and we'll run some rocks. So this first day we drove around, I tried a new mount on my GoPro. So right now it's on the chin of my helmet, but I couldn't aim it up any farther. So unfortunately a lot of this footage was just aimed down, and it's basically what I omitted from using this day. But right here it kind of shows the chaos that is my note taking a little bit. So I figured I'd leave this one in here for you guys.
jackhammer's pretty tore up this year. A lot of dirt in the trail. It's gonna be definitely gonna be a problem on race day. What do you think of jackhammer?
Pretty slick right now.
A lot of dirt.
Yeah, really loose.
First official day of pre-running. We are maybe halfway up Sunbonnet right now. We had a lot of confusion up top about maybe some course file discrepancies and things like that, but I think maybe we're back in a groove now. We feel like we're on race course. So I think the goal today is to get to remote pit 2, and then we'll probably just take the desert back to camp. How's it going, Farley?
It's going.
It's going. The car handled real good.
Yeah.
All right.
Good.
Yeah, he's killing it. Like 40-inch bomber, and then every time we look in the mirror, 37-inch 4800 car just right behind us. It's cool. All right, back at it. There's a ton of really cool connector trails like this on race course that a lot of people never really see. So right here, I think we're headed back towards Highway 1920. So this is, you know, out in the distance there is the Marine base. This is kind of the backside of the hammer trails that not a lot of people end up seeing, but just kind of some cool 2-track that just meanders through the desert and helps you connect trail to trail. Is it like a super joint or a CTM?
Super joint.
What was all the you just rattled off that you need?
I have all the stuff to convert it back to the old shaft that it has.
Oh, you can't.
35 spline.
This is the 40 stuff?
So it had 35 spline 300M shafts in it for the last race.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be on top of it for this race.
So you got all 40?
So I had bought all 40 spline shafts, new U-joints, new unit bearings, new spool, and one trail in, and it blew up.
One trail?
Well,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
One day.
day one.
Day one, yeah.
Yeah.
One day with the boys.
One day with the boys. I've been running the same 40 spine, 300M, right? 40 spine
Yeah.
spider tracks.
Everyone I know gets 4 or 5 years out of them.
Mine are the same shafts that I've always had. Oh no, those are a new set, but I've never broken them.
You hit it way harder here than I did. I didn't even get the opportunity to bump it yet.
Well, we were doing good until we weren't. We're going up Highway 1920, and Farley's just upgraded his front axle to all Spider Track's 40 spline, and he just broke inner and outer axle shaft on the front passenger U-joint. The CTM U-joint's still intact, but the ears are busted off both the stub axle and the inner. So this trail's got a decent bypass, so I'm gonna walk it and see because if we can get them out the top of 1920, then we're at remote pit 2, and then we can just take the desert back to Hammertown. See what this looks like. Instead of progressing up 19 and 20 and turning 3-wheel drive into 2-wheel drive and 1-wheel drive and just being out here all night, we're gonna turn around, head east for the Marine base, and then just follow the base of the mountain around. I think it's a safer play. I've been on those roads down there and like on my F-250, so that's the plan. Still probably be dark when we get back, but at least we won't be all messed up on some trail all night. So here we are coming back down from 1920 after Scott's break, and we're headed east directly to Marine Base right here. We'll basically get to the base of the mountain, hang a hard right, travel south, and then we'll come out around to the lake bed and end up coming out onto the lake bed over, south of Lake Jackhammer. So this is the dry lake bed here adjacent to Hammertown, and normally it's even more crowded than this, but because it had snowed right before I got there, there was a lot of mud in the dry lake bed, and a lot of people didn't camp there. But it kind of gives you an idea of how congested Hammertown and the dry lake gets. But here we are making our way into Gate 3, and Scotty will go back to his pit at the Rufus Racing and figure out what to do about his broken axle. First official day of pre-running in the books. Just got back. Aaron ran over to PCI to see if they've got an updated race file because we heard they already found mistakes in the race course. So anyway, he's doing that. I'm cooking dinner, a couple steaks and some mashed potatoes. Unfortunately, I really liked Aaron, but I just found out I don't anymore because he said he likes his steaks cooked like charcoal. And that's not okay in my family. So I'm gonna ruin his steak. I'm gonna cook mine the way it should be. Did some good pre-running today. Got some good trails in because we learned some, how to stay on course, made the right turns, and yeah, it felt good. Car did great. So unfortunately, Scott Farley had that break. I think I got some of that footage while we were out on Highway 1920. So yeah, we'll cook some dinner and I'll start transferring those notes over to the computer. I think the big thing I've learned doing all this is staying organized every single day and not falling behind on like course notes or work that the car needs or anything like that. So hopefully I can keep up with everything. But we'll have some dinner and a beer and then get back to work. Good morning from KOH. Second official day of pre-running would be today. See how cold it is. I opened the door to throw the Starlink outside, but got to get acclimated. Can't just hide in the warm motorhome the whole time anyway. So I'm starting the morning with obviously some coffee and breakfast, but I'm also cleaning up all my notes. So what I do when we're on the trail is I just drop waypoints and I pre-number a pad of paper, and then I mark like low range, high range, hard left, hard right, go up waterfall, whatever. And then those turn into numbers on this computer software called Easy GPS. So right now 12 is just, I dropped a pin, it's numbered 12. And the hand note for that is a hard right off the trail, because you can see instead of going up the road, you have to turn right off into nowhere and just start diving off the mountain. So I'll put that in the GPS so we don't drive right past it like we did yesterday. So the rough plan today is to kind of pick up where we left off. So I'm gonna finish up these notes and make sure things are cleaned up, charged up, ready for the day, and see what the day brings. Okay, while I'm making notes here for race course, I've been using the Onyx off-road app to really help me understand what it is we're out here doing. So I have the actual race course on the app. KOH Onyx loaded it automatically, just having the app and being out here. So I have the full race course for desert and for rock racing, and I'm using this to help me understand, because the layering of it is better for lap 1 and lap 2 and the colors and everything. I'm using it to have a better grasp of what we're supposed to do on actual race day, because a lot of the lines overlap each other. You do certain sections twice, and it's just been really helpful to be able to highlight some of this stuff and make sense of it and zoom in and out quickly before I go to the computer and make some actual race course notes. And in the car using the Lowrance, it's much more analog. It's a much simpler kind of course map. So having Onyx with the topography in here and more colors and just some of the trail names already mapped out has been really helpful. Okay, let's see what time it is. It is 10:05. Aaron's been looking over his car. Everything looks pretty good. Just been greasing, servicing, inspecting. And I've got the race course notes as updated and cleaned up as I can based on what we've driven and seen. And so what I'm doing is I'm just making notes every day, and then hopefully, all these sections, we're running them in race direction, but we're not necessarily running them all sequentially
So you kind of have to just make sure you've pieced all the sections together and you know how to transition from rock trail to rock trail or desert to rocks or whatever. Things are going good, so it's warming up here a little bit today. Aaron's running some errands in Hammertown. He's ordering a new water pump. Pro Eagle's here. They're going to service our jacks. And yeah, just keep checking things off the list. Had kind of a broken up morning with Scott trying to get his car fixed and back together and some other race logistics that we had to handle. So I think it's probably about 2 in the afternoon when we decided to go do this. But it's really, we're just getting on course right here at pit 2, and this is where the rock lap is going to start on race day. So we're just trying to connect from here over to the base of Clawhammer, which is where we actually started our pre-running yesterday. And it's just really important to me from the navigational standpoint of nothing that we're going to run is expected to be super difficult or complicated, but it's all these just little twists and turns in the desert. And as you come to a fork in the road, just knowing without a doubt which way you're going before you realize you've gone too far the wrong way and that you're off course. So I like to run every race mile if I can, and really just make sure that the flow of the race course and all the directional changes make sense to me. It has a lot less to do with, you know, driving the actual rock obstacles and a lot more to do with just not getting lost. Here we are at the first kind of rock obstacle, or it's hard to call this a trail because it's literally only about 100 feet long, but this is the one that everybody was calling off-ramp. It was kind of new to me. Like I said, it's just a really short section, 2 basic little rock obstacles that link together. So right here on the notepad I'm marking, I dropped a waypoint on the screen, and then I'm going to mark it low range, and that way on race day it's just a reminder for Aaron that that's where we're going to shift to low. And then conversely, when we get out of this and realize that the trail's higher speed for a little bit, we'll switch to high range again. So that was it. That was the entire trail of off-ramp. You see Scott coming in to our right there. He elected to take the bypass, just being a little bit cautious about fixing his axles up. Just wanted to get some miles on them and inspect them again before he, put the car under some real stress. So he went around that obstacle just to go easy.
right here is where race course ties back into Clawhammer, which is the canyon straight out the windshield there. And this is where we actually started yesterday, so we decided that no need to do it again and put more wear and tear on the car. We just head back to camp and call it a day. What we got? What's for dinner, Aaron?
I don't know. It's like a macaroni and cheese. I don't know. It's like a burger meatloaf. I don't know. French toast.
How's it taste?
It's good.
All right. Some mac and cheese. Johnny approved.
Helping homie.
All right, kind of a scattered day, but Johnny and Scott got their 4800 car fixed. We learned some things. I don't have any of that on footage, but that's probably too technical for this anyway. What else? That car's back together and good, so that's a good place to be. We went and did 2.8 miles of trail today,
Finish lap 2.
but it completed a section for us, so that's really good. And we're gonna eat some food, drink some beer.
Car's good.
Car's good.
Fire up the smudge pot.
Smudgy, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Well, now it feels like Hammers. Helicopters are up in the air. The trophy trucks are all out running their like qualifier. It's not a real big lap. Walk over to the fence line here and show you a little bit. So it's kind of cool. They come over the Bronco arch, down the rock pile, and then over the double jump. Tight.
Need
Another wrench. What's up, neighbors?
What are the chances of that?
Okay. Ooh.
Pretty tight.
All right. Well, just clean it off. Maybe it's just some old schmeg. KOH day. I don't even know anymore. What day is it, Rodney? Sunday?
Sunday.
Sunday. Mother effing Rodney showed up at like 3 a.m. So we're getting him set up. So Aaron is working on a couple little pick list items that he's got, tightening up things that he felt like were wiggling a little bit. The plan today, while the Unlimited Desert Race is going on, is Aaron's just going to get the car 100% ready for our desert pre-run tomorrow, where we can actually run the desert course in our direction, which is opposite of what the trophy trucks are doing. So we just want to be 100% ready for that, and then we're going to try and do the whole desert lap in one day, which sounds easy because you're like, well, you race it in the race in one day, but there's something magical about pre-running that's just, you know, you got to go slower. It takes longer. Weather is insane. I'm dying out here in the sun in a t-shirt. Probably should put shorts on again. Johnny is Scott Farley's navigator, and he and I are going to sit down and go over notes later and just kind of compare course direction and course notes and make sure we're on the same page and kind of have the same understanding. You end up in this situation where the drivers don't always understand where they are, and that's okay. They just need to not crash into stuff, and then the navigator can keep us headed in the right direction and keep us on course. So we'll get back at it. Check in with you guys later. I'm not techie, learning to get better with the radios, but we made a trip to Rugged Radios. We got some help with the programming, and the comms are good, so we'll see how that goes. Desert races are all done. The rock guys are practicing the qualifying course up there in short bus, and they're currently working on the short course, turning it around, basically the jumps, because we're going to run it in the opposite direction. So they got some dozers out there doing that. And we've got a qualifying drivers meeting tonight at 7, so we'll hit that and then probably go up to the whiskey camp to get some leftovers or whatever, and that's about it. Hit the desert tomorrow. We got radios. Aaron's very excited. He's never had radios.
We got radios.
That's Aaron. That's Aaron's excited face. Rodney?
I'm excited.
Okay.
We got radios.
We got radios. Now it's Monday after all of the desert races that took place Saturday and Sunday. Now we have the same desert course as those trophy trucks and all the other classes, but we run it in the opposite direction. So we had to wait till Monday to pre-run it in our direction just so nobody was out there going head to head. So we decided to get an early start. We did the qualifying course a couple more times just to make sure it was kind of fresh in our head, and then took off on race course. So just kind of simulated that we couldn't do the gap jump. They had it closed off. They were working on it, changing direction of it. So we decided to just get on at the Bronco Arch, and now we'll stay left here in these ruts and take off into the desert. It's, I think, about 7 a.m. It's nice that Scott and Johnny and Aaron and I, we just really wanted to do the desert lap and be as efficient as possible and get a good early start. So it felt nice to be, on time and kind of proficient and taking this serious. There's some really just killer miles out there in the desert. This is some of that lap one that most people just don't see. Maybe there's some helicopter footage on the live feed, but for the most part, for years, especially before Starlink and Starstream and live in-car, this was the part of the race course that nobody got to see, and you're just out here in the middle of seemingly nowhere, just putting in miles on various types of two-track and open desert and dry lake beds, and it's kind of fun. It's not always fun being in the dust, but there's a lot of cool terrain out here, and if you like the desert like I do, it's pretty fun driving. This was actually really good for Aaron to let Scott go in front, because Aaron doesn't have a lot of experience in the desert or in the dust, and a lot of people kind of moth to the flame and just go right behind the car in front of him. But I was trying to encourage him to look for alternative lines and get outside the dust and stay upwind of the dust. So it was honestly good pre-race practice for Aaron to just get out there and look for different lines and kind of drive his own race.
Whew. We're out of fuel.
You what? What'd you say?
Oh, we're out of fuel.
Like out?
Yeah.
What the hell? You didn't put gas in it last night? I told you to prep.
Huh?
You were supposed to prep and be ready today.
That means I'm getting less than 2 miles a gallon.
Was it really full?
Huh?
Was it full when you left?
Not this morning. We calculated, 25 miles yesterday or some shit?
A little over, like 30 on this.
So I've used
3-gallon tank. What the does that add up to?
I've gone through 8.66 gallons today.
Damn.
And how many miles have we gone?
Half. We're just a little more than half.
Good.
We're at 20. No, we're at 22.
So it's about.
We're deeper. Yeah, we've done like 40.
So this is like a 16 to 20 gallon loop.
Yeah.
Like, how much fuel do you have left? Like, it's sputtering?
Yeah.
Every now and then.
What the?
Every now and then. Only when we climb straight uphill.
We still have like another 20 or 30 miles to go.
Yeah.
So are you clear with the spot, Johnny? So this
We're
is
going.
lap 1. This is lap 2.
Oh boy. Wait, to the left is lap 1.
Right.
Okay.
And right is lap 2.
Yeah.
So, like-
Wait.
So I just make notes, and then I have a third one, right? Because the third lap will be a aftershock for us too.
I need to make a note.
So I drop pins back here, just that says lap 1, go left, lap 2, go right. And then when we drive up on them, I just read them out loud. Because you could be so tired. You're like, we're on course. Yeah, on the wrong lap. What do we got going on here, Aaron?
Well, we made it 40 miles, and someone forgot to put fuel in their car. So
Don't look at me.
It's always the navigator's fault.
always
It was going great until it wasn't. Lesson learned. Always put gas in your car. It's all good. That's why you pre-run together. And it'll make you super paranoid for the race, so you won't chance it.
Say the check valve in the pump messed up, you can shut it off. Okay, so I'm at 62%.
getting some of that Texas fuel. Tim, it even tells you.
Scott has spare hydraulic ram steering lines in his car, and it's the exact same AN size and everything we needed to transfer fuel. Wrapping up pre-running lap 1. It's Monday morning. The UTVs are qualifying, so we can't completely finish the lap because they're qualifying right there on that mountain. But we bypassed back door the way we do on lap 1, but Aaron wanted to see it. One now. So we came to check it out. We might loop back around and do it, or we might head back to camp, see what they wanted. But I found a bunch of trash at back door, so picked it up, threw it away, and actually found 4 completely good twisted tees. So take those back. Monday, pre-running, lap 1, done. Aaron dropped back door. He got all in that back door.
Finally, I did it.
The internet makes just makes back door seem magical, but really it's hard going up and anybody can fall down it. So we're gonna go grab some cowboy tacos and I don't know, come up with a plan. We're done earlier than we thought we were gonna be.
Everything's good.
All right.
Good in the hood.
Before qualifying, we've finished all our pre-running. So now's the day to get the car ready for the qualifying run tomorrow in the 1 o'clock hour. So Aaron's doing some detailing on the car, and we don't really have any changes to make. Car's running really good, so we'll probably just put enough fuel in it to make sure that we don't have any problems for qualifying. And then after the qualifying run tomorrow is when we will pull all the sheet metal off the car and give it a real thorough inspection. So some of my stuff that I'm doing today is just gonna clean up my notes from several days of chaos and look at the race file on the laptop some more. I noticed a couple things I need to clean up. So just kind of chipping away at logistics. I've also, the end of pre-running signifies the end of me drinking beer. I'll have a beer after our qualifying run, assuming it goes good. Maybe I'll have 2 if it doesn't, but otherwise I won't drink beer until after the race. Drink a lot of water, try to eat good, clean food. It's gonna be a really, really long, hard day in the car, and hopefully I don't have to get out of the car much, but I wanna be in the best shape I can be as far as nutrition. So that's the plan. Is this the whore's bath?
Yeah. Yeah, this is as good as it gets.
Make her look all pretty for qualifying?
Yeah. Make it pretty to make it look dirty again. Hopefully we don't have any more mud. You can take the Yukon split and go around and go under, or take the hero line over the Yukon launch.
But our race director and our event director, they've got all the damage that's already taken place.
Yeah, you're right on that.
And because of the damage that's already taken place, I'd be surprised if they allow it to.
Like, I figured this is just a good visual of lines in the desert. So this is kind of early in the pre-run. We made this right at this VCP. And then...
This is yesterday?
Desert. I'm just gonna go right here. Quit it. Scott and Johnny were over here to our right, and you're like, well, they're down there on race course, and we were just on God knows what line, right? but this is like lines in the desert. And then we hit the lake bed. But this is where, like, I'm talking about, like, VCP racing to VCP racing. So once you bang this corner, it doesn't really matter which line you're on.
Oh yeah, that's where remember there was water.
I
There
was
was the
worried about
multiple
mud.
lines.
Yeah. And then
And it was dry.
So really we're just racing to VCP to VCP. So if you get too creative, like, I'll guide you back in. But I just don't want you to get hung up because you're here and feel like you need to make a drastic correction to come back to race course. You know what I
You
mean?
just have to tell me.
I mean, just look at all
Just
these.
drive.
Yeah, just look at all these lines in the desert. And then we made this left. And then do you remember there was like muddy sections like over here, like off to the right, like standing
And then
water.
everyone went right here.
Yeah. So there's a lot of that. Gone down outer limits. We've made the left.
Oh, okay, right there.
There it is. You got glare? Can you see this?
Oh, I can see it.
Okay. So we start coming up Spooners. This is the bypass up here, this dirt road. That's a freeway, right? And this is some of the gnarliest rock crawling right here in Johnson Valley. The new rules came out today.
Oh, they posted it?
Yeah. All missed rock checkpoints will be a minimum of 15-minute penalty, or 5 times the received gain, whichever is greater. So if we bypassed this, you'd get a minimum of 30-minute penalty. But like I was telling Chris, if there's a gigantic mess in here,
How would we know?
well, like we get here and there's 10 cars piled up, like there's kind of an option.
Oh, there's ways to get out?
Well, there's one to ping this and then take this one and accept the penalty if we think it saves us an hour and a half of messing with spaceships. But those are some of those like high stress decisions that we'll have to, you know, like, do you want to risk penalties to get to the box, or do you want to, like, Dave Cole, stay on the rocks? I mean, I would stay on the rocks if people are rock crawling.
Mm-hmm.
But
if people are moving.
Yeah, but if it's
But
bad,
is that a spot where they just don't, is it like that one, like on Jack, where there's only one way out?
pretty much, like right here, like really where he dropped that one,
That's,
it's like a one-liner.
we'll look that easy. A spot to get out right there, too.
It's pretty steep right there.
Oh,
This is pretty steep, but I think this one works. But
Did you,
lines in the desert.
where did you get that from?
This? What?
That
Software?
satellite image with
It-
your course on it.
I subscribed for the satellite image. The course I imported from the SD card into this software called EasyGPS. So I'm just making and modifying my notes in here, and then export them back onto the
It'd be
card.
really
and then
cool if I
modify them.
showed like that on the GPS.
You can totally import satellite on the low rants, but everybody says it slows the refresh rate down. So the responsiveness of the GPS gets bogged down.
It's bogged down. That's
And
one
a
thing
lot-
we never did. We never got the antenna working, right?
We'll try again. Go do clockwise. Do some tighter circles, faster circles.
So has anything changed on this from when we reviewed it the other day, this qualifying?
I haven't.
This is the first time I've seen
Oh
it on TV.
yeah, dude, you need to watch some of these runs. There's some really valid points because they're even saying part of this rule change. If you miss a flag on the qualifying course, they're giving it a 5-minute penalty. The entire qualifying time is only 5 minutes. So like
What flag are they doing?
the ones up top or at the bottom where you're speeding out into the short course and stuff.
5-minute penalty on a 5-minute run?
But there are some lanes. Yeah, exactly. Like how crazy. Oh, this is Austin. It'll help you. Oh, Megan just got hung up. Like all dipped
Yeah,
out
we
there.
did not go through that.
No, we did
at
not
all.
ever.
Sketchy. Oh, so people are getting hung up right
Yeah.
now.
So that's the tomorrow morning.
But as soon as you get in that, you go straight back down.
Yeah. So the best line has been in the wet spot and just like kiss the flag like that.
Way of taking the favoured line from here.
Why, Dave? Why did you like?
Why does it matter?
Cast to the left.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter.
like no one's going to the right anymore, huh?
And there's another spot.
It's cool that they're videoing all of this.
Yeah, you can.
The technology did not used to be like this.
Yeah. It's crisp too, you know. It's not some pixelated.
Yeah, I mean this is high def. Like this is live right now.
pretty cool. Like, you know, to
Yeah.
As a
kinda
spectator,
incorporate
it's
that.
awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Like to see
excited about embracing the challenge, and so the plan for that is we tech the car or the whole contingency thing on Friday. So we're gonna try to be early because then they're gonna let us have that mystery 3 or lap 3 file at noon if the car is done with tech. Which the last tech station is at PCI, so I can see their idea is when you finish, you get your file.
Yeah, okay.
So what I'll do is I'll come back here, and I won't put it in the car first. I'll put it on here, and I'll see where it is, and I'll start making notes about some of the trails I'll know, and some I won't.
Right.
And it'll be
So
those.
we were at the shear pit this morning, and they were saying like there's trails that don't have like tire tracks.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. Which I told Aaron, you know,
Which is
you gotta
crazy, dude.
you gotta keep in mind by the time, you know, hopefully we're lucky enough to be on race course still on lap 3.
Right.
And if we're having the day we want to have, we're gonna be the 20th car through there.
Right.
So hopefully, like, some stuff's beaten in, but
There'll
there's
be
also
some
going to
on a
be
race line, yeah.
there's also going to be which one of these
Five
you know?
options, yeah, right,
Because
yeah.
a Gomez went this way and a Shear went that way and a Slauson went right up the middle, and so it'll be pretty.
You got to be getting Slauson GPS data because then you know the exact line you need to take.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know, just trying to be, you know, Aaron's doing all his, you know, he's driver, crew chief, and lead mechanic, so he's got a, you know, he keeps walking by sweaty and dirty, and I'm in here all clean and just nerding out. But that's, you know, like, this is what I need to do well. I don't need to help him put shocks on. That would be a bad misappropriation of my time.
Right. Yeah, man.
So
gotta use the resources you have and use them smartly.
Yeah. It's really important to get that out of the way on pre-running and
Yeah.
argue about like he wanted more input from me just to go drive around. And I'm like, number one, I was like, chill, bro. Like, we both need to take it in. We're going slow. Like, he's asking me left to right, and the reality is, I've got a line on my screen, but what I do is I look at the line, and then I look at the terrain. And I look at the line, and I'm like, And then once we do it, it's like I'll bank that into, like, you know, because there was one spot, it doesn't really have a name, but it really looked like we're just going straight. And then 50 feet later, I'm like, off course.
Yeah.
You know, and so we back up and like find it. But that's the stuff that I'll mark.
Right.
And say, you know, hard left. in
Remember this
bottom.
thing you did 2 days ago? Yeah.
Right.
Take the right.
And it's not necessarily his job to remember, it's mine
Yeah, of
at
course.
that point.
Right.
Yeah.
But when we're both out there pre-running,
Focused on, you know.
when we're out there pre-running, I look at it as let's make the mistakes, let's have the arguments, let's whatever. It's something he's learned. He built 2 GPSs into his car, and he wasn't even looking at his ever. And so we finally got it to a point where he finds a zoom that gives him like a rough, and that instantly shut him up, because instead of asking me like, am I going straight or left, he like just a quick eye glance, and he's like, oh, it's straight. I don't even need to bother Kevin with his.
You need the general view versus
So he can be a little more macro, and I can be more micro.
Yeah.
And so we've already found like our feng shui with that.
Yeah.
And then on race day I'll ramp up because his pace will be so much more.
Right.
It'll be like hard left and you know, I'm gonna give you a countdown. Hard left in 5, 4, 3. You know, because he'll just blitz it again, you know, or whatever. And like that was it, you know. And he'd be like, you didn't tell me, you know. So.
You need like the full rally signals,
Right.
like mid left, you know.
Yeah. And he doesn't like we played with that 2 years ago. He doesn't want L1 through 6. To him, he's like from Texas. He's like, tell me to bang limiter down in that holler, you know, like that's his language, you know, like. So we're gonna make sure that we don't, you know. Luckily, I know him, and I know the difference between Aaron and pre-running and the Aaron and racing, and so like that's good. But everybody's different.
Yeah.
And then Scott said, what would be really cool is like, you know, drive and like find out that like, oh shit, it's way too much.
I really don't think speed's gonna matter. I think you're just gonna come out of the turn and
Gotta go.
frustrating, as always.
Yeah.
They never, in the history of ever, they never provide you the opportunity to pre-run the qualifying course, start to finish, with all the markers up. Like those flags we were talking about up top,
Yeah.
they pulled them. Can't run the short course because the kids are racing. Like, you can never run the whole qualifying course.
I mean, we've had the car sitting here ready to go for 2 weeks, waiting for one like start to finish qualifying.
They're never like, hey, this is official qualifying practice. Everybody get in line at the start line, and you can do the whole thing. You can run the gap. You can, like, never happens. Oh well. Today is qualifying day. Done all the pre-running we wanted to do. We've practiced the qualifying course as much as we can. Always a bit frustrating out here that we just can't run it to the extent that we want to, because there's so many things always happening on the race course here, whether it's the desert races or the kids, the youth 170 race or whatever. So we've never hit the gap jump. We've never actually done the full thing, from start line to finish line. So there's a little bit of this that we're doing in the blind today, but the good news is Aaron's not trying to set pole. We're just trying to have a good, clean run. So our qualifying time's at 1, so right now we're just watching the live qualifying show on YouTube from our camp, and then just hope for a nice, clean run a little bit later.
All right, so it's Wednesday at the moment. Today's qualifying. You'll be qualifying this afternoon. So far, with all your pre-running and what you guys have talked about with the vehicle, what kind of things have you determined are key points to remember for the race?
For the race or qualifying?
Or rather, for qualifying, yeah.
My big concern with qualifying is I just don't want Aaron to. I don't want him to hurt the car. Like, the rocks out on the qualifying course are big enough that they could break a front axle, they could, explode a knuckle, they could go right through an engine skid, wipe out a drive shaft. He's got a few spare parts, but I just don't want him to I don't want him to mortally wound the car right before the race. So I don't really think that his starting position for race day is nearly as critical as starting the race with a good car. So my whole job in the car during qualifying today isn't even going to be to help him navigate or to stay on course. The course is simple enough, he knows the course. My whole job is going to be to try to get him to lift his foot off the gas pedal and just check up so that nothing goes terribly wrong and the race is over before it's even started.
Yeah.
So it's a quick walk to anywhere, right?
Exactly.
I believe that's Aaron Smith on screen.
Oh, there we go. Good old Aaron is in
He's
there
at
with
Ultra
Kevin,
4 Jones.
Ultra 4
Yeah.
Jones in the passenger seat. Yep, in the wrong seat.
Just finished qualifying. Everything went really good. Super, super safe, conservative run. Aaron hit 0 rocks. I have no doubt the car is just as healthy as when he started the qualifying lap. All the concerns are gone, so that's great. That's behind us. I don't know where that'll put us starting. Probably like maybe 2/3 of the pack or something like that in front of us, which is great because we're going to play it safe in the desert too. So far everything's going exactly as we wanted. Let the fun begin. So got the easy up, got some lights in it. It's got its tunes playing. The boys are taking the car apart because now that all the pre-running's done, all the qualifying is done, it's time to look this thing over with a fine-tooth comb. Loose bolts, cracks and chassis, axle housings, all that stuff, and just really be thorough because we put a lot of hard miles on this car already this week, and it's pretty likely that there's going to be a couple of problems here and there. So the single best way to inspect a car is to clean it. So take panels off, grab a rag, and just start wiping stuff. And sure enough, when you wipe away the dirt, you find a loose bolt or you find a crack in the chassis or something like that. So they're getting after it. I'm going to pull up the lap 3 pictures that I just took from the live show as Dave kind of leaked some of that stuff. And then we will go to the driver's meeting tonight at 7. Aaron's favorite part.
What's up, guys?
Hey everybody, what's up? We found anything? And by we, I mean you and everybody else.
No, just cleaning stuff up.
Okay, looking solid.
I mean, I feel like there's nothing to do. Just cleaning and driving. Get across the finish line.
Go racing. Chris is so bummed. Chris is gonna sawzall something in half just so he can weld it back together.
It's been fun not doing anything.
Yeah. Nothing?
There's a breather hose up here, had a little bit of fluid on it.
Yeah. What about like put it on jack stands and like rotate?
That's tomorrow.
Okay. Nothing obvious tonight.
Yeah, that's when I can get rid of everybody and do it myself. I got too many chefs in the kitchen.
There's the real answer.
Yeah. Yeah, today we're just cleaning and looking.
Eat food, drink beer?
No, it's time.
Alright. Good morning. This is day of UTV race. So Aaron and the boys are working on the car, putting on the race wheels and tires, changing brake pads, generally looking everything over, trying to make sure there's no problems, nothing he's not aware of. Some things transpired last night. A 4800 racer I know, his Navigator hurt his back. So I will be jumping in the car with that guy, Josh Abel, in the 4831 bomber. And it's good and bad for me, right? So I get to see more race course before I race with Aaron. And the bad is it's going to be more wear and tear on my body. And then worst case would be if I got hurt for some reason in that race, I wouldn't be able to get in the car with Aaron. And we've obviously worked so hard to get to that point. So excited for the opportunity, but also, you know, a little bit apprehensive in that regard. So with that being said, I had to get my safety gear over to that guy because the 4800s are going through tech today. And part of that tech is checking the safety gear of the driver and navigator. So they're going to inspect my gear, and I'll get a little sticker on my helmet that says my gear has been inspected and good to go for KOH 25. And I'll catch up with him later, and we're actually going to do a tiny little lap with maybe like one rock trail in it, just so he and I can talk to each other in the car. I can adjust seat belts, make sure everything's good, and I don't have any last minute weird stuff to do. I'll load the race file in his GPS, and yeah, so that's what's going on here today. Go check in with the boys. What's going on over here, Chris?
Aaron's going through checking all the brakes on the race car. I guess last year he had an issue, or the last time he raced, he had an issue with too much brake fade, or rather running out of brakes. This year he felt a little brake fade during qualifying, so he's going through changing all the pads and doing one last inspection.
All right. Is everybody too close, Aaron? You need us all to back up? Are you doing all right?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
We'll give you a break.
No, we're doing good. Thanks.
Aaron doesn't like people touching his car. The orange is Dave's vision. We're right here. So like that's what's hard. That's where he's saying if somehow in the zigzags you fall out, those little oranges are to like scoop you back into the rocks.
Somebody tipped over behind him.
Like, it goes to hit the VCP and it's already below it. You'll hit the VCP full. I think it goes off the left. It goes up like once you hit like right straight with cars on 4,000 much heavier. It's flat. It's not stop.
We hit that high. So it's a supercharger.
Go high. Down. Right where this is. They're in that white car's in the right line. So the car is somehow on the side. The rock comes the motor.
Now being in the 4800 race, I'm getting in a car that does not have a fuel gauge of any sort. And so we need to do some fuel splits on this thing. And Chris and I started doing it, and then we were like, oh, we should video this. So let's tripod this thing and have this conversation. So what we started by doing is taking the actual race course. It's got mile markers on it, and started figuring out where you can stop on course to get fuel, which is main pit and remote pit 2, and then what the distance each lap is between those locations. So what we came up with was we have to go 51 miles from start to the first pit, and then from there we have to go 13 miles to finish that lap back to main where we can pit again. And then from there we go 52 miles because we're adding in a rock trail back to remote pit. And then we have, because we're adding in a couple rock trails, no, sorry, then we're doing 20 miles of rock trails. So we got 20 miles before we come back to pit again. And then we have another 15 miles
back to the finish line.
With 2 more rock trails.
With 2 more rock trails in it. So the 13 from earlier became 15. So then we decided, well, what's the fuel mileage of this car? The owner, Josh, told me that they ran lap 1, which is 65 miles, and they used 14 gallons. So Chris did the math on that, and we came up with the car using 4.6, getting 4.6 miles per gallon. So I think for calcs, we should probably just round that down to 4 to be conservative, right? Nothing wrong with that. Makes the math a little easier. Well, let me write this because I've been keeping it in my brain. So when I get to pit 2, I'll be down 13. So at pit 2, how many remaining? 26, 13. 13 remaining. Let's just write the remainings down as we go. Should I write the remainings and then takes? Should I do the pluses and minuses as I walk it down? And if we don't like it, we could redo it. 13 remaining, so add 7 for a total of 20.
So you're leaving remote pit 2.
20 gallons, leaving 2. Can you see why it's just better to have a fuel gauge?
Yeah.
RP2. Okay, and then we burn.
You'd lose another 3.
We'd lose 3.
Back to main.
So we'd have 17 at main. So at main, we'd have 17 gallons remaining. But we're gonna burn 13 just to get back there. And to me, that's scary to roll in with 4 gallons.
Oh, that's right.
So we should take 7 at main. Because if we just leave main and go for bit 2, we're gonna burn 13.
Oh, no, yeah, that's right. Okay.
So we're gonna take 7
you
at
get
main.
back to main with 17. You take another 7 there. That puts you at 24.
24 leaving main.
And then you're going to burn another 13. And then also
At RP2 after aftershock, right?
Yep.
We'll have what remaining?
You'll have 11 remaining at that point.
11 remaining.
So here you can take 2 7s.
And have
And that would put you at 25.
plus 7 plus 7 and have 25.
Yep.
Going into rocks,
Into the rocks.
which should let us finish the race at that point.
25, so that's going to be, is it 20 miles? Just look at the sheet.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Sweet.
5 and 9. The rest of the race should take 9 gallons. Yeah, 25 minus 9 puts you at 16 by the end of the race, assuming everything went smoothly.
So if we take 25 going into the rocks, we're gonna burn 5 doing rocks, and we're gonna burn 4 finishing the race.
Yeah.
So we'll have at finish, we'll have 25 minus 9, 16 gallons at finish line.
So then you can make a choice at the end of the rocks to pull into pits for an inspection if you feel something's wrong, or just to keep going because you know you're going to be good on fuel to get back.
We have to do outer limits and spooners again.
Yeah.
Or the second time. Or first time, sorry. I'm confusing my races. Yes, the last time we see you at pit, we'll go around the outer limits and spooners and leave. When we leave.
Right.
So that, I would say that's a conservative fuel plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that requires 1 7-gallon can at main and 3 at pit 2.
Yes.
Okay, so there it is. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I think what we've really just determined is that race cars should have gas gauges, because then you wouldn't have to do this. Aaron's car not only has a calibrated fuel percentage on his Amtron fancy display, but also the engine tuner programmed through like injector, like the rating of the injector and their pulse width in the programming. The display shows fuel used in gallons down to the hundredth in decimal, and it's very accurate. The other day it showed like 8 or 8.2, and the car took 8 or 8.2. It was like within 0.2 of a gallon. So much better confidence being in Aaron's car that we can just, based on how our day's going and how long we're sitting in rock trails and how aggressive he drives in the desert, we can just pull into a pit and say, yeah, we got room for 11. Like, dump it. There we go. What else? So you want to be a co-driver.
All right, it's the night before the race. What's going through your head? What are you thinking?
Night before the big race. Last minute 4,800 race. Number one, eat a meal that won't cause like bubble gut tomorrow. So we did spaghetti and meat sauce, nothing. And been trying to hydrate all day, put down quite a bit of water. And then it's just get all the stuff together, like, you know, race suit, bought the new catheter kits today.
Extra small.
Extra small, mini truck. And gets, yeah, Camelback, snacks. We already put, I don't know, I'm sure there'll be some more last minute panic thing in the morning, but this is 11:06, that's Texas time. Yeah, I think the goal is just not to stay up late the night before the race. And sometimes that's unavoidable because you're, you know, unfortunately maybe the car needs work. But in this situation, both cars are good, so there's no excuse to not get a good night's sleep. And then I don't know. I don't get nervous before these.
That was going to be my next question. Is before your races or your co-driving, whichever, do you have any issues like sleeping or?
I don't. I usually sleep pretty dang good. What did you want? You wanted Aaron's and theirs, right?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to build Chris some comp plan here too. Yeah, I don't get nervous. Qualifying's nervousness, but that's gone. So the actual race is such a long marathon, right? How many hours do we have tomorrow? We have 8 hours tomorrow? 10 hours.
Tomorrow's...
We get a 10-hour day, 8 to 6. Right?
Yes.
Okay. So tomorrow's a 10-hour time limit. It's still a pretty long endurance race. And then the next day with Aaron will be a 14-hour marathon. So I don't feel like a big impetus to rush. So
now I know you've mentioned, at least on your stories, I don't know if you've done it in here, but you mentioned on your stories your workout plan leading up to the race to make sure that you're in good shape, you know, healthy in case you got to hike 5 miles to get some fuel.
Yeah.
So what are some of those? Yeah, what are some of those things that you do? And
yeah, so I mean, I think I've always done something endurance athletic. I ran cross country in high school. And then the fire service definitely creates kind of an endurance athlete mindset. So I've done some like really amateur triathlon type things. So I've had plenty of opportunities to understand like nutrition, hydration, physical exercise training, stuff like that. So I enjoy running still. So I mostly just try to run 12 to 15 miles a week.
Do you have certain workout routines like pulling cable or stacking rocks?
No, one, it's funny. We saw this one. It was that documentary for the Tyson Paul fight.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, I think it was Tyson, it might have been both of them, they were using resistance training on their neck muscles. So they had those elastomer bands on their head and something behind them, and they were like doing this. And I was like, that's really funny looking, but if you only race in a car once a year, the extra weight of the helmet on your neck muscles aren't used to it. So the violence in the car, like tomorrow, I mean, especially, I've never done 2 King of the Hammer races back to back. Like, the muscles in the back of my neck are going to be really sore from like slowing my head down every time it like tries to decelerate or G out.
It's like almost having whiplash.
Yeah, so if I rode motorcycles more often, I think that wouldn't probably even happen, because it's the same thing. It's just helmets. Like, if you don't wear a helmet in a rough environment, like I don't even know that a road course helmet situation would help, but it might. So yeah, specific exercises for sure could help. But I think if you really wanted to just be good at all the stuff, you'd just spend as much time in a race car as you could. You know, that way all the things are normal. No, what other questions you got on your mind?
And due to recent events, what kind of recommendations do you have for people picking certain traits in their co-drivers?
It's got to be somebody you like trust, feel like you can rely in, like all those just probably like general human qualities. But I think, I mean, to me, like stuff that lends, if I was doing this more often or I got started in this years ago, I could see why some people think maybe some of my skill sets are good, is that like athleticism I think is good and valuable. I don't mind being out of the car and hiking the trails or winching or anything like that. I think some mechanical abilities are good, you know, at the very least probably change a tire without supervision, but all the way up to full-blown, you know, suspension, hydraulic repair, you know, anything that could come up is beneficial, especially when, like I've noticed in those race breakdowns, the obvious solution might not come to you because you went from full adrenaline, endorphin dump, high speed, to now like 0 miles an hour and you got to fix something. So like maybe it helps that Aaron and I are both very mechanical, and together one of us will think of the right thing to do. Yeah, the ability to just probably stay organized. I bet that's a big one. Like notes, like a systematic process, a way to do this. Because I don't know, you have to have I mean, you've seen how much I carry the notepad around and how much I write on it every day. It's because there's always something to figure out, whether it's the fuel burn of the car or questions for the driver's meeting or things to pack in the car, things to fix. It's staying organized is important. But I would think like mostly like a spry athleticism is probably good. Like being a kind of a trail, being able to hop along the trails and stuff. I think that's a big one. Because I feel like a lot of these people, they just get out of the car and they're instantly tired. And that sets you up for, like, one of the reasons I think you need to be physically, like physical training, exercise, whatever, is, and they probably do this in the military too, if you're physically tired, you're more likely to get mentally fatigued and make mistakes. So if your body doesn't get tired, it's easier for your mind to stay sharp. So I think that's a really important part, is if I don't get tired in the car, then I probably stay focused on the GPS route and all those things.
tomorrow we'll find out if prepared, right?
It's race morning. 6:30, 6:45 on EMC day. I just put my racing catheter on. I'll save you the graphic on that. Hopefully it stays on today. So I gotta get bottom half of my race suit and boots on, and then I can trim the hose to length. I'll be right back. Okay, straw is cut to length. It's time to put all my snacks and bags. Mallory handmade me these granola bars, but they are sticky. To unwrap them before I need them. I'm excited about this race with Josh because I really don't have any expectations about this. Race. Josh seems happy to have me in the car with him. So hopefully we can get this done. That would be pretty cool. A race I wasn't planning on. Make it happen. I'll see you guys back at camp. Okay, I'm back from EMC race. Didn't go the way I wanted. Made it, I don't know, 130 something miles, and then had electrical problems. Battery swelled up and overheated, and put another battery in, and then alternator quit working, and then we changed the alternator, and then that one quit working. So I don't know what electrical gremlins that Josh's car has, but this wasn't meant to be. So pulled the plug at like 6 p.m. and I'm thrashing to get ready for Aaron's race tomorrow. Just finished loading the lap 3. They held the lap 3 file until today at noon, so I got that when I got back. Made a couple quick notes on it just to try to make it make sense for me a little bit, some of the turns, and then loaded it in the car. And now I'm just making a list of things I need to do in the morning, like fill my Camelback and grab spare GoPro batteries and stuff like that. And then I'm going to bed because I'm shot out because I hiked several miles today. We'll try this again tomorrow. This video wouldn't be complete without at least showing us get off the starting line, so I included that footage here, but really all of the race itself is going to be a whole nother video that I'll have out next week with all the in-car footage. I'll splice in some of the live stream stuff and basically anything that I can compile and to tell that story of race day, because it was a long day and we don't have time for it all here. So here's a little start. Okay, day after race day. It's the rough part. It was 2 very long days of racing. I'm sure you can see it in my eyes.
kind of hurting. But yeah, I didn't turn on the camera yesterday morning and kind of do like a wake up. Here we go. Let's get going. So I'll have some sort of like race recap and see what kind of footage I can get from other people to put in here. But yeah, what it's like is they give us a 14-hour time to basically just get body beat up, and we decided 14 hours wasn't enough, so we were gonna do it all night. So we got the car all the way through the course, but outside of official time. We are not finishers, but we did drive every course mile. Turned into some night wheeling, turned on some music, and I think we pulled into Hammertown at like, I don't know, 12:15, 12:30 maybe. Let's get packed up.
As always, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week. And let me know what you think of these voiceovers. If you want more, you want it to just go away.